We're working through an example of an inequality word problem with a little bit of physics thrown in for good measure. Join us. I'm Allison from Math Bytes, and we're doing an example of an inequality word problem. So here's what we've got. A ball thrown straight up has velocity v equal to 20 minus 10t, where t is the time in seconds after the ball is thrown. When will the velocity be greater than 12 meters per second? All right, so we're looking for the time t when our velocity v is greater than 12 meters per second. Now we know from the problem that v is equal to 20 minus 10t. So the inequality we have to solve is 20 minus 10t greater than 12. Okay, so let's start out by subtracting 20 from both sides. So we have 20 minus 10t minus 20 is greater than 12 minus 20. And that leaves us with negative 10t is greater than negative 8. Now, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1 over 10 to get rid of that negative 10 in front of my t. But when I do that, I have to change the direction of the sign. So I get negative 1/10 times negative 10t is now less than negative 8 times negative 1/10. And that leaves us with t is less than 8 over 10, or t is less than 0.8 seconds. So the velocity of our ball will be greater than 12 meters per second when the time after it's thrown is less than 0.8 seconds. Okay, here's the next part of our problem. When will the ball be traveling upwards? Okay, let's think about what happens when we throw a ball into the air. It will travel upwards for a certain amount of time, but gravity will eventually get the better of it. It will travel upwards, eventually the velocity will become 0, and it will immediately start to fall back to Earth. So the ball is traveling upwards when the velocity is greater than 0. So we have to solve the inequality v greater than 0. Now plugging in our equation for v that was given in the problem, we get 20 minus 10t is greater than 0. Okay, I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides, so I get negative 10t is greater than negative 20. Now, I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by negative 1/10 to get rid of that negative 10 in front of my t. But because I'm multiplying both sides by a negative number, I must change the direction of the sign. So I get negative 1/10 times negative 10t is now less than negative 20 times negative 1/10. And that leaves me t is less than 2 seconds. So the ball is traveling upwards when it's less than 2 seconds after we've thrown it into the air. To learn more about this topic, watch our videos on the Math Bytes with Allison YouTube channel.